Inc.com has released an article that says, according to a recent study, most people can't pass a basic 5-question financial literacy test. So let's take the test together and see if we can ever be rich. How to tell in 5 minutes if someone will never be rich. Let's get straight into the questions and I'll give some commentary along the way. Question number 1. Suppose you have $100 in a savings account earning 2% interest a year. After 5 years, how much money would you have? A, more than $102, B, less than $102, C, exactly $102. The answer is obviously A. 2% is $2 a year, so in year 1 you would have $2, year 2 then you would add 2% more, pretty straightforward. Question number 2, imagine the interest rate on your savings account is 1% a year and inflation is 2% a year. After 1 year, would the money in your account buy more than it does today, exactly the same as today, or less than today? So A is more, B is the same, C is less. This is obviously less. The value of your savings increases by 1%, but what you can buy with that savings decreases by 2%. This is pretty straightforward maths, but I think it highlights the fact that inflation is something that many people don't factor into their savings planning. Question number 3. If interest rates rise, what will typically happen to bond prices? Rise, fall, stay the same, or is there no relationship? We have A rise, B falls, C stay the same, D there is no relationship between interest rates and bond prices. Now this one is a harder one because these days bonds are borderline useless as an investment because they pay so little, so most people rightfully ignore them. However, the answer is B, fall. The issuer of the bond promises to pay a set interest rate over a specific term. In effect, the buyer lends money to the issuer. Those bonds can then be traded by investors in much the same way stocks can. That's why bond prices rise when interest rates fall, and bond prices fall when interest rates rise. Look, 15 years ago, bonds were more of a viable investment option. Now they are almost the same as hiding your money under your bed. So I understand if most people get that one wrong. And I think at this point in time, knowing about bonds isn't going to really affect whether you're rich or not. So just to be blunt, I think Inc. got this one wrong. Question number 4. A 15-year mortgage typically requires higher monthly payments than a 30-year mortgage, but the total interest over the life of the loan will be less. True or false? Again, this is obviously true. You have less time to pay it, so you obviously pay more each month. However, you pay it faster, so there's less interest charged. If you don't understand that one, I do think that would actually be big problems for you to get rich, so I think you should study up if you got it wrong, unless you just misunderstood the question. Question number 5. Buying a single company's stock usually provides a safer return than a stock mutual fund. True or false? Again, the answer here is obviously true. A single stock is more reliable. Just checking if you're still paying attention, obviously it's false. A fund is spread across multiple companies, so you're less likely to be affected if the CEO gets caught in a scandal or something like that. So therefore the risk is spread across multiple companies and therefore it's less riskier. They've then thrown in a bonus question. So here's the bonus question number 6. Suppose you owe $1,000 on a loan and the interest rate you are charged is 20% a year compounded annually. If you didn't pay anything off at this interest rate, how many years would it take for the amount you owe to double? A, less than 2 years, B, 2 to 4 years, C, 5 to 9 years, D, more than 10 years. The answer is B, 2 to 4 years. I haven't done the specific maths, but just off the top of my head, 20% each year is 5 years, but when it compounds, it's faster. As year 2, you get interest on year 1's interest as well as the original 1,000. So 2 to 4 is about right. To me, if you got less than 5 out of 6 on this test, you need to brush up on your financial literacy. Unless you misread a question or misunderstood a question. The only question I forgive people for getting wrong is the question about bonds, given they aren't really a viable option for most people anymore. So therefore, I think that knowing about bonds is irrelevant to whether you're going to be rich. However, the rest are very basic and you should know these. Therefore, I think despite Inc.com's title, this is just core knowledge everyone should know and barely correlates to how much you will earn. You can't save money you don't have, so you need to earn money to get rich. Understanding basic financial topics is helpful, but it's only one element. Anyone who earns a lot can save money and buy funds and therefore get rich. However, not everyone can earn a lot. So you're better to focus on that, then the rest of it is easy. These are just my thoughts. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments, and as always, good luck. Oh, and also don't forget to let me know what score you got.